You literally cannot make this up. In this video, this woke Democrat actually thought he outsmarted Ben Shapiro, okay? Without further ado, let's ride.
Bureaucracy, right?
I do.
I want less bureaucracy. You want more efficiency?
I do.
I want more efficiency. You want taxpayer money spent wisely?
I do. Congrats on becoming a Republican.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents would be proud. Mass deportations, it calls for that. Do you support that part?
I support the deportation of any illegal immigrant who's in the United States who is not of benefit to the generalized American public.
So if they're picking agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans, they've never committed a crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they are making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we measure that?
The same way that the IRS measures my income every year. It seems like if the IRS can track down every aspect of every receipt that I've ever submitted, and
So
they can do so for hundreds of millions of other Americans, they can do that for illegal immigrants as well, except for the fact that no one knows how many are in the country thanks to this administration.
So you would be cool with creating a system where they could pay those taxes if they wanted to and then stay and work and put food on our table?
It depends on how long it would take for them to pay the taxes, and they would also have to go presumably to the back of the line, although I'm not sure why I'm testifying about immigration policy at this point.
How about banning the abortion pill? That's part of Project 2025. Do you support that part?
I think that that's a state-by-state issue on a personal level.
I'm just asking you.
Sure, I'm a fully pro-life person, which means that I'm not in favor of the distribution of the abortion pill.
Banning same-sex marriage, what about that part?
I am in favor of traditional marriage between a man and a woman, and I'm perfectly fine with anyone having any sort of voluntary sexual arrangement they seek. That's a different thing from whether the government should attach benefits to that personal relationship.
But you think it's a sin to have same-sex marriage?
I mean, I'm confused. Are you asking me as a...
Yeah, so this is where I'm getting confused here as well, Ben. You know, the question just went from, okay, what are your beliefs to, no, excuse me, what are your morals to now what are your beliefs, right? And when you start to dive into that, now you're like, what does that have to do with anything, right? What does that have to do with the bigger picture? But hopefully I'm making sense. Back to the video.
Religious Jew, what I think about biblically.
I'm just asking, is it a sin to be gay?
Is it a sin to be gay? I mean, how long do we have here? 2 minutes? I mean, if the basic idea is that sexual orientation is up for government regulation, I'm not in favor of the government regulating the private consenting sexual activity of adults. That is a different thing, once again, from whether the government ought to engage in actual benefits for particular sexual arrangements that adults make.
But again, just you to me, is it a sin or not?
From a religious Jewish perspective, orientation is not a sin, but activity is. That's also the same perspective of most major religions, so far as I'm aware.
Okay. And how about cutting Social Security? Do you support that part of 2025?
I'm not sure what Project 2025's position on Social Security is. I'm in favor of the restructuring of Social Security along the lines of privatization and lowering and increasing the retirement age, because you, as well as every other congressperson, knows Social Security is going to go bankrupt, and yet everyone seems to have an interest in lying about it for the next decade and a half until we have to take austerity measures or radically increase inflation or taxes.
And bans against books about slavery. Do you support that part about?
Why would I possibly be in favor of bans about books about slavery? That would be absolutely ridiculous. What I am in favor of is the idea that school libraries should be able to make...
Are we sure he changed over to Republican? Because these sound like real Democratic left questions. But I don't know. You guys let me know. I mean, yeah, I just, where are these questions coming from? What does this have to do? I'm sorry. For me, again, I don't believe he's Republican. Like, by the way, he could be Republican, by the way. I'm not saying all Republicans don't feel this way. But I don't know. Something smells fishy. Back to
decisions along the lines of what exactly is appropriate for, say, a 7th grader and whether they ought to be treated to cartoons and genderqueer. That's not quite the same thing.
And just because we found some receipts, you did say, I think homosexual activity is a sin.
Yes, I'm a religious Jew. That's true.
There's a genetic component.
You found me out.
Orientation. But the view of all religious people I know has always been that sexual behavior is something that is up to you. And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your, I'm sure it's very hard to restrain yourself. Mr. Chairman,
Yo, what is wrong with this guy? Drop in the comments. Is it just me? And by the way, I agree with Ben when he said, and we talked about this before, when you're pushing it on the younger children and the younger generation, right? This woke agenda. In fact, Elon just had an interview with Jordan Peterson that I just covered, that you can go check that video out, right? I may leave it up at the top here so you can go check it out. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's my biggest issue. My biggest issue isn't even all of this. It is all of this that's going on, but more so is the youth, right? Is getting, because they're adopting all of this nonsense. They're adopting all of this garbage that this man is spewing right up here, right? Back to the video.
I just want to shift to Alvin Bragg. He was supposed to be here this week, and he's not coming. And Hunter Biden was supposed to testify. Now he's not testifying. We were supposed to have votes on articles of impeachment, and we didn't. And again, we're just wondering, you guys write great press releases, but the payoff seems to never come. And so I guess we will keep waiting, and we'll do hearings like this. And finally, Chairman, you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater, and that's a restriction on speech, as you have recognized before. But you can yell theater in a crowded fire, and you all can continue to do that all you want, and we'll just waste the American people's time.
Gentleman's time has expired, and I remind him of the first rule of holes. When you're in one, stop digging.
Yeah, I agree. 100 million %. I 1,000,000% agree with that. And yeah, ultimately, man, I mean, I know this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people, but for me, I don't first of all, I don't like the way that they grilled Shapiro, right? I'm just going to be honest. I don't like the way that they grilled him. And also on top of that, the questions didn't you could tell they were getting under his skin, and they were trying to they actually weren't getting under his skin. They were trying to get under his skin, but he kept throwing it back in their face, right? So actually he held his ground, and that was freaking amazing. That was awesome that he did that. But again, guys, let me know what you think about this topic. For me, it's always been that just keep it away from the youth, right? Because what's going to end up happening is, now we're in 2024, right? And obviously, we hope that Kamala doesn't get elected and all these other, Democratic people don't get elected, the woke, especially the woke ones, right? Because of all the nonsense that we're seeing, right? Women and men's sports, men and women's sports, right? Trump is trying to get rid of that, and he will get rid of that when he gets in office. And also, what I also want him to do is take out the nonsense that's in the schools, right? The elementary schools now that they're teaching this garbage, this nonsense, they're spewing it into the young kids' heads. And, they're going to grow up with this. And the young ones, they're our future, right? As of right now, the way I see it is, I'm not saying we're screwed. I'm not saying that. But once you're 17, 18, you pretty much have made up your mind. Yeah, you can change it, but you've pretty much made up your mind on your beliefs and what you believe in, right? So anyway, not to rant, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm siding with Ben here. I believe they should not be spewing that rhetoric and promoting it to the young ones. And I don't like the way they attacked him per se, but he held his ground, which is awesome. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you slap the like button, keep the subscribe button for more. Till next time, peace.